My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. I worked at IRS for a decade. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My YouTubes are less than 5 minutes. I tell you everything really that you need to know about IRS. I have been in this business for 50 years. I've worked over 10,000 cases. I am a national expert in resolution matters. I have been on God in the last 3 weeks. I've been on 4 major news stations regarding the hiring of all these audits. So I've been on Fox, ABC, and all the stations. So I don't do any really selling or promotion other than to tell you if you need expert and affordable representation, our firm is full of IRS agents. Today I want to talk to you about, in the title of what I'm doing, is why you want to use former IRS agents for representation. It really, it's really to me amazing, just absolutely amazing. And this is going to be self-patronizing or pat my shoulder on the back, but I want something to make perfect sense to you. There's different people that can do representation: tax attorney, CPA, and enrolled agents, and certainly former IRS agents who can practice in these areas. Tax attorneys are really the most part good for litigation matters. CPA are usually maybe on your own tax return. Enrolled agents, some of them specialize in IRS representation, most tax returns. But why you want to use a former IRS agent who may be in those different verticals as well is because they know the system. It just baffles me, absolutely baffles me, that people will reach out to other people than former IRS agents. When you're a former IRS agent, you have been in the system over and over and over and know everything about every type of case, because you've had every type of case, and you know exactly as a former IRS agent, I know exactly what they're thinking. I know exactly what their next step is going to be. I know exactly how this case is going to end and where the case needs to go. And when we speak to the IRS agent working the case, and they know you're a former IRS agent, we know what they know. And it changes the entire scope of the case. We know how they're going to negotiate. We know how they're going to settle. We know the negotiation factors. We know the hazards of litigations. We know everything that they know well ahead of time. We left the IRS. We've gathered all that information, and we have all that information really to go ahead and help the clients. They also know that we'll take a case to appeals at a drop of a hat because we don't like the way things are going. And usually IRS doesn't want you taking a case to appeals because it makes the agent look bad that they couldn't settle the case. The manager isn't happy with them. But usually, and I please, from the bottom of my heart, I don't want this to be self-serving in any way. No matter what IRS agent you use, make sure you get an IRS agent who's specialized in your problem. So if you have an IRS debt problem, you want a former IRS agent who was a revenue officer. If you're going through an IRS audit, you find a former IRS agent who was a revenue agent. That's how the system works. If you go to appeals, you want a former IRS agent who was in the appellate division. We have everyone on our firm that really does this. But you may have friends, you may have your own accountant who does that, but there is no question in my mind, and I have done this over 50 years, the majority of complaints and people that can't settle the case are people who have a practice who've never worked for IRS, and it just should make absolute perfect sense to you. It should. There's an art to negotiating with IRS, and usually when you've worked for IRS this long, you realize that there is a certain way IRS closes the case, and if you can help close that case for the agent, your client's going to be happy and everyone's going to be happy. Anyway, please do not let this be self-serving. I just want to give you a very common sense message. If you need IRS representation for anything you had, we've been doing this a long time, and we've never had a complaint. And we do build relationships with our clients, and we Zoom with everybody. Thank you very much.